Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this brief presentation about the World Federation of Chiropractic. I'm sorry that I can't be with you in person this afternoon. I'm elsewhere engaged, traveling internationally to Phoenix in Arizona. But this afternoon, I just want to spend a few minutes talking about the WFC, what it is, what it stands for, what it is that we do. So the WFC was formed in 1988, so we've been around for 36 years. We're a non-governmental international organization that's made up of national associations of chiropractors. Our members are the national associations of chiropractors in 96 countries around the world, spread across 7 world regions. That is Africa, Asia, Eastern Mediterranean, Europe, Latin America, North America, and the Pacific region. Our role is to advocate for chiropractic around the world, to promote chiropractic around the world. And what we're going to be doing in a moment is just really go through what it is that we stand for. And what it is that we stand for can pretty well be encapsulated in the 20 WFC principles, the 20 principles, wfc.org/principles, which set out in detail what it is that we stand for. But I'm going to summarize very briefly what it is that the WFC stands for and what it is that we do. So what is our vision? What's the vision of the World Federation of Chiropractic? Well, we envision a world where all people of all ages in all nations can access the benefits of chiropractic. One of the challenges that we face currently is that chiropractors are very inequitably distributed around the world, with over 80% in North America. Take Africa, for example, where there's 1.4 billion people in the continent. There are about 800 chiropractors in the country of South Africa, and there are fewer than 50 chiropractors distributed around the rest of the continent. So there's a very inequitable distribution of chiropractors. And with the need for chiropractors in MSK health around the world, it is absolutely essential that we increase the workforce and are able to deliver what we do to a wider range of people. What's our mission? Well, our mission is to advance awareness, utilization, and integration of chiropractic internationally. We want more people to know about chiropractic, more people to use chiropractic services, and for chiropractic to be integrated in healthcare systems globally. We believe that's a realistic mission, and this is what drives us to get up every day and do what we do. Now, importantly, the recommendations that we deliver, the work that we do, have to be underpinned by evidence. And we believe that science and research should inform care and policy decisions. And we support wider calls for evidence-based chiropractic. So this is an important part of what we do. And we'll talk about some of the committees that the WFC has later on. But we also maintain that chiropractic extends beyond the care of patients to the promotion of better health and the well-being of our communities. You'll hear me talk about the Be Epic campaign later on. Evidence-based, people-centered, interprofessional, and collaborative. We're people-centered because we believe that the care that we deliver extends beyond the patients that come into our office, and that as chiropractors, we have a duty to be active in promoting health within our communities and in wider society. We champion the rights of chiropractors to practice according to their training and expertise. We know that in some countries around the world, chiropractors are not able to practice. In countries like Taiwan and in South Korea, chiropractic is illegal. Chiropractors run the risk of being arrested and charged for practicing medicine without a license. So we champion the rights of chiropractors to practice according to their training and expertise. I talked earlier about evidence-based practice. It must underpin everything we do. Yet we need to better articulate what we mean when we talk about evidence-based practice. It's not just about using randomized controlled trials and systematic reviews, although guidelines and evidence is an important part of what we do. It's also about integrating individual clinical expertise and the values and preferences of patients so that we can deliver individualized, judicious care so that the right patients get the right treatment at the right time. We're committed to supporting our member national associations through advocacy and sharing best practices for the benefits of patients and society. What does that look like? Well, it means enhancing access through statutory legislation, statutory regulation. There are approximately between 40 and 50 countries around the world where there is bespoke legislation for chiropractors. And over 80% of chiropractors around the world are governed by formal legislation and licensure. And of course, that includes all 50 states of the United States, all of the provinces in Canada, in countries like the United Kingdom and Australia, and in countries like even Costa Rica and Mauritius has only recently been given legislation for chiropractic. Over 40 countries around the world have bespoke legislation for chiropractors, and in many others, chiropractic is practiced legally pursuant to common law, which means there's no statutory regulation against the practice of chiropractic, and it's well tolerated internationally. We acknowledge the role of chiropractic care, and including, of course, the spinal adjustment to enhance function, improve mobility, relieve pain, and optimize well-being. We know that chiropractic is not just about the spinal adjustment, though. It's about providing advice, education, exercise prescription, a range of interventions, a suite of interventions. But we know that this package of care that chiropractors can deliver is extremely important and has a great role to play in tackling so many musculoskeletal and other conditions. We support research that investigates the methods, mechanisms, and outcomes of chiropractic care for the benefit of patients and the translation of research outcomes into clinical practice. We have a research committee chaired by Professor Sidney Rubenstein, and we have researchers from around the world that are part of our research committee that exists to advise the board in relation to evidence-based matters, but also to provide data and knowledge translation to our wider chiropractic community. We believe that chiropractors are important members of a patient's healthcare team, and that interprofessional approaches best facilitate optimal outcomes. I know that this is something that is in line with the view and the mission of the Canadian Chiropractic Association, who believe that chiropractors should be a part of every individual's healthcare team. Interprofessional collaborative care is absolutely essential as we go forward. There is no role for chiropractors sitting in splendid isolation, and we must be part of an integrated interprofessional team. We believe that chiropractors should be responsible public health advocates. I talked about chiropractic care extending beyond the realm of patients, but into communities. World Spine Day is something that the World Federation organizes and coordinates globally, which reaches out way beyond the patients that we see. It reaches millions of people every year. October the 16th every year is World Spine Day, but throughout the rest of the year, we promote public health and the role of chiropractors in advocating for public health. And we believe that's a critical part of serving communities. We celebrate individual and professional diversity, inclusion, and equality, and represent these qualities throughout our board and our committees. And this is something that I'm extremely proud of, that the WFC has wide global representation within our people. I mentioned earlier that we have 7 world regions, and when we constitute committees and we constitute our board, we have representation from throughout those communities, although it's not just geographic. We celebrate diversity in all its forms and look to be as inclusive as it's possible to be. At our events, recently we were in Australia and we will be in Kuala Lumpur this year, but diversity, equity, and inclusion has to extend throughout everything we do. We believe that patients have a fundamental right to ethical, professional care and the protection of enforceable regulation, and upholding good conduct and practice is absolutely and utterly essential. We talked about regulation. Regulation and legislation is the critical element in the development of the profession in any of our nations. What it does is it protects the public. Regulation is all about protecting the public. It's not about chiropractors. It's ensuring that patients have access to safe, evidence-based, ethical, and professional care, and that there are measures in place to discipline those who step outside those boundaries. So ethics, professional standards have to be what we stand for as an organization. We also serve the global profession by promoting collaboration between and amongst organizations and individuals who support the vision, mission, values, and objectives of the WFC. We work with our member national associations. We work with organizations such as the Association of Chiropractic Colleges, of FIX, the sports organization, of SURF, the Chiropractic Educators Research Forum. So we are about collaborating with others that share similar views to our own. Importantly, particularly as it relates to this afternoon's presentation, we support high levels of standards when it comes to chiropractic education. We want graduates to be empowered to serve their patients and communities as high-value, trusted healthcare professionals. And CMCC is at the very forefront of delivering high standards of education and are very much admired throughout the global education community. We believe in nurturing, supporting, mentoring, and empowering students and early career chiropractors. This has to be an important part of what we do. We invite students to participate in our events. We have students who are part of the World Spine Day organizing committee. We support and work with the World Congress of Chiropractic Students, and I would urge all of you to get involved in the WCCS, because this and these are the stepping stones to leadership in the profession. Any of you interested in leadership, this really is what you want to be getting involved with. So get involved with the CMCC chapter of WCCS. We're committed to the delivery of congresses and events that inspire, challenge, educate, inform, and grow the profession through respectful discourse and positive professional development. Just this last October, we were in Gold Coast, Australia, where we held an extremely successful 17th WFC Biennial Congress. Next year, our Congress is going to be in the Danish capital, Copenhagen, and we would love to see as many of you there as possible, and we're making it particularly accessible for students, and we will be having a dedicated student track in relation to this showpiece event. That's not the only event that we do. We also host an education conference where we invite the participation of students within the event itself. That's going to be in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia later this year. There are now over 50 institutions globally, education institutions, and we love seeing students at our events and our conferences. We need to communicate with our community. We need more people to know and understand what it is that we do as chiropractors. So we as chiropractors believe in continuously improving our understanding of the biomechanical, neurophysiological, psychosocial, and general health effects of chiropractic care. And as the WFC, we support and endorse a biopsychosocial approach to care. This is where it's at when it comes to the care of many musculoskeletal disorders, but particularly spine care. The biopsychosocial model is something that we support, but we need to continue understanding and developing our understanding of these areas. One of the biggest challenges to chiropractic are unsubstantiated claims in relation to the benefits of chiropractic care. They damage us, they cause adverse publicity, and they cause us to be the subject of ridicule. So one of the things that the WFC does strongly is advocate for public statements and claims of effectiveness for chiropractic care that are honest, legal, decent, and truthful. Almost every country around the world has advertising standards authorities that monitor what it is that advertisements are allowed to say and allowed to claim. Unsubstantiated claims about chiropractic care damage us, and they take away from the focus from what it is that we're able to do. So ensuring that we advocate for public statements that are honest, legal, decent, and truthful is a critical part of what we do. And finally, our 20th principle, we commit to an epic future for chiropractic, evidence-based, people-centered, interprofessional, and collaborative. You will have seen our BeEpic hashtag. We invite you to use the BeEpic hashtag because we feel that by encapsulating these 4 pillars of evidence-based, people-centered, interprofessional, and collaborative. This is the pathway to success for chiropractic, not just in Canada, but also globally. Thank you so much for listening to me this afternoon. I'm sorry that I'm unable to be with you in person, but I wish you every success, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the speakers who are on offer this afternoon. And I'm sure that you will be inspired by all of them who are with you. Thanks very much for your attention.